Hello, welcome to my AP World History preview. We start from Song Dynasty, and before we're going straight to Song Dynasty, we need to know some knowledge about ancient China. Ying Zheng named himself Qin Shi Huang and unified China in 3rd century BCE, and he popularized the concept of terracotta soldier and Great Wall. The dynasty he created called Qin, which is the first Chinese dynasty. Confucius was a philosopher in the 6th century BCE. He wrote dialects and influenced the hierarchical structure and development of Chinese society. In Tang Dynasty, a monk called Xuanzang defied an imperial decree and ventured outside to meet his brother and study Buddhism in 7th century. He finally returned to China and soon popularizing Buddhism. U1T1 was a 7th century concubine of Tang Emperor of Tang Dynasty, who became the only empress later, and she is a supporter of Buddhism. Now we're going to Chinese religion and ideological system. The ideological system or philosophy is Confucianism, who is founded by Confucius. The only thing you need to know about Confucianism for AP exam is they produce a civil service exam and governmental bureaucracy, which not only influenced China, but also the country around it. For example, like Korea, Vietnam, and Japan, they all adopted the civil service exam. However, it transmits power from aristocracy to bureaucracy. It also resulted in a social rigidity. The Chinese local religion is Taoism, which is founded by Lao Tzu, who also wrote Dao De Jing for this religion. Taoism focuses on nature and simplicity. Dao means a way, and Wu Wei means action without intention. And Yin and Yang, they respectively mean dark and light. Taoism produces holistic medicine, astrology, kung fu, and feng shui. Now we're going to Buddhism. Buddhism is a foreign religion to Chinese people. It's founded by an Indian man named Siddhartha Gautama, also named Buddha. They believe in reincarnation, and nirvana means a joyful state beyond human suffering. Buddhism have different sects like Theravada in India, Mahayana in China and Vietnam, and Chen or Zen in Japan. That is important to know that Theravada is more traditional and they reject merchant class or trading, while Mahayana, which founded in Vietnam, is more open to trading and merchant class. Like the Tang Dynasty before it, the Song Dynasty was a golden age of art, literature, and architecture. Chinese foreground invention being more widely used than ever before. Paper and printing press being used to produce paper money, gunpowder being used for military, and compass being used for navigation. Their 4 arts of life include tea brewing, flower arranging, incense burning, and painting. The founder of Song Dynasty is Emperor Taizu, who brought peace, unity, meritocracy, and advancement. In Song Dynasty, agriculture and the economic revolution make world largest population and GDP. Capital of Song Dynasty is firstly at Kaifeng and then Hangzhou. The Sui Grand Canal connected Yellow and Yangtze River for shipment of iron, steel, and textile. In politically, the civil service exam with scholar bureaucratic partially replaced the aristocracy system, and in livelihood, people shift from wheat eating and wine drinking to champa rice eating and tea drinking, thanks for the Silk Road, which not only brings the champa rice to China, but also the Mahayana Buddhism, which I mentioned before. During this period, women began to inherit property and keep control of their own dowries, but sadly, they also start the food banning. Marco Polo visited Song Dynasty in 1275 and Mongol in 1279. By the end of 11th century, the Chinese shifted from charcoal to coal for heating and fueling. Marco Polo also recorded it in his journey. That is noticeable for this switch because basically two things. The first is a hot bath, and another is pre-industrialization symbol. Chinese people have more opportunity to help hot press and cleaning, which led the disease spreading more difficult in China in Song Dynasty. And Chinese around producing thanks for the coals is higher than the combination of whole Europe around produce in 17th century. Also, the Chinese people also advanced on painting and poet. Shanshui is a painting style, and Su Dongpo is a great poet who heavily influenced Chinese literature. Now we're going to talk about the Song Dynasty influence. The Song Dynasty conquered Korea and Vietnam and forced them to pay tribute and koto. Japan was more accepting Chinese culture, even though it doesn't being conquered, while Vietnam less. Both Korea, Vietnam, and Japan accept elements of Chinese language, religion, technology, trade, military, and architecture, and also art. And all of those countries embraced civil service exam and all rejected food binding. In comparison, Vietnam women have more opportunity during this period. Japanese aristocratic woman Lady Murasaki wrote the world's first novel, The Tale of Genjin, and the Japanese Heian period is relatively peaceful. While in 12th century, Japan devolved into civil war. The shoguns replaced the emperor until the Meiji Restoration. Japan is kind of like feudal Europe, with serf to peasant, landlord to daimyo, and they have castles and feuding families. The Bushido code to samurai is like chivalry to knights. The fall of Song Dynasty is due to the foreign country's invasion. The Song Dynasty has fended out Khitan by paying them tribute, but they cannot compete with the Jurchens, and they were continuously forced south. Song Dynasty allies with Mongols in an effort to defeat their enemies, the Jins, but after the win against the Jin, Mongols led by Kublai Khan took over China, and thus began the Yuan or Mongol dynasty in 1279. The Mongols had the largest continuous land-based empire.